Hi, my name is Chuck Samuelson. I'm the founder and president of Kitchens for Good. Kitchens for Good is a non-profit social enterprise. We address the issues of poverty, hunger, food waste, food insecurity in San Diego. We do that through a social enterprise. And essentially, social enterprise is we do business to support our nonprofit work. So although we're a nonprofit, we generate 60% of our income from our business operations. So we operate a catering events company. We have senior meal contracts in Encinitas, San Marcos, and Vista. We feed the seniors at their senior centers Monday through Friday, year-round. And this past June, we took over the contract to do food and beverage at the Moonlight Amphitheater in Vista. And I've been up there, thank you so much. I've been up there running that kitchen all summer long, and so that's one of my roles in the organization is new social enterprise businesses for us to generate revenue to support our operations. So I was asked to say what farm to institution means to me, and it's a number of things. Efficiency. As part of my career in hospitality, a lifetime career in hospitality, I used to love to buy as close to the source as humanly possible whenever I could. I'm old enough to remember when the restaurant I first worked in, when we knew that not only the baker, but the farmer, the guy who supplied us the pigs for pork, and the butcher who butchered it for us, and all of that. And we were really, in a small community in northeast Montana, really connected to the land and the people that provided us our food. And I think that by doing farm to institution, you get that back. You get not only control, but you get efficiency back. As you eliminate steps in the food chain, you become more efficient, you have better control of the product that you're getting, and you become more sustainable. You waste less by having shorter steps between the producer and the end user. And so that to me is what farm to institution means to me personally. So with that in mind, I want to turn this over for speaker introductions.
Hi, my name is Danny Calvillo, and can you hear me okay? And I'm with Sunrise Produce Company. I've been with Sunrise for the last 10 years. I've been doing produce a long time. I grew up in produce. I'm like the third generation. My grandfather and my father actually grew up in the produce terminal in Los Angeles, which gave me nightmares because when I was 16, I had to be down there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And one thing about produce, it's a different world. You know, we start early. And I didn't enjoy that when I was 16, you know. In fact, I probably never really enjoyed that. Now that I think about it. But I've been involved with produce all my life. I've been all over the country with produce and different aspects of it. I've taken specialty produce all over the country. I was the vice president of Ready Pack and did the bag salad 30 years ago, took it all over the country. I came back into the food service distribution about 20 years ago after leaving the retail segment, and I've never looked back. I really enjoy, this is where I started, because I started my first company when I was 25, and came back broke from being a ski bum in Steamboat Springs and didn't know what else to do, you know, tried to get away from produce, but the magnet was always there to pull me back in. And now that I've been involved with the new programs with the institutions and working with growers, I actually started working with growers probably 35 years ago. In fact, I remember really well, Charlie Iwamoto grew cherry tomatoes for me in Vista. And I don't have any, I mean, growers to me are just so important, you know. As long as I've been in this industry, the more I know I don't know. Because all I have to do is spend a day with a grower and then I find out how stupid I really am. So, I have a little bit of experience, a little bit of knowledge, so I enjoy it. I work with a lot of institutions. I work with growers right now, so I'll just pass the mic to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Carissa Iwamoto. I've been working in school districts since 2013, and I'm actually carrying on a great legacy of my predecessor, Sandy McGoldrick. If you see a lot of the pictures that have the Volvo logo, those are photocard to Sandy. And yeah, I'm really enjoying being involved in the Farm to School Task Force.
So my name is Bob Knight, and I'm a farmer. Kind of an unintentional farmer. My parents were school teachers, but we lived on a 10-acre orange grove that they inherited from their parents. And that exposure to farming when I was a kid was enough to make me say, I will never become a farmer. I hate farming. Farming is the last thing I ever want to do. It's just too much work and there's no glory or anything. And so once I graduated from high school, I fled to New York City. I became a telecom engineer. And it took me about 20 years to realize farming is great. Farming is a wonderful place to raise kids. What a lifestyle. And so now I've been farming for the last 13 years. I started with 2 acres, and then I went to 14 acres. And now I farm 87 acres, mostly citrus, but also mixed vegetables, and blackberries and figs. And also I put together a hub, which is kind of like an alliance of farmers to kind of pool our knowledge and pool our resources so that we can serve institutions such as Calvillo.
Chris, I'm going to start with you. What has been your main challenges in finding the right local vendor for the school district?
Great question. Really finding the right local vendor for our district. We're a small district of about 5,000 and it's K through 8. We have to find a vendor who has products that we can successfully use in our operation. I can't speak for other districts, but my team in our central kitchen gets real used to pre-cut lettuce and pre-cut broccoli florets, and they don't really want to process things. So it's a matter of balancing out what my staff is capable of doing, as well as foods that the kids are going to eat. So that's where we start off, is looking at the products available. Secondly, we look at logistics. So how much advance notice does our grower need? Do I have to commit to getting items weekly? Because sometimes if I do have to make that commitment, which I understand the farmers have to plan for harvests and quantify amounts out, but if I have to commit to it every week, then I really have to make sure that, one, the kids love it, absolutely love it, and second, that my staff can handle processing it very, very regularly. So sometimes if it's a weekly commitment, it's a deal breaker for me, but the right vendor really has a good balance.
Bob, why were you interested in selling to institutions? And this is a two-part. And then what do you do to set it up to be successful working on it?
Since I'm an older guy, so I'll have to remind me of the second part later. So the critical thing, some of the critical things that I think are needed in working with institutions is consistency and depth of your bench, okay? Which is something that most individual farmers just cannot do. And I'm talking about small farmers. And I'm just curious, how many people farm in this room? Okay, good. We have farmers out there. So, you know, when you're growing vegetables, for example, that's really hard to grow vegetables and very unpredictable about when they will come and be available and what kind of condition they'll be in, etc. And the timing of the crop. And institutional buyers, school buyers, don't want to see that kind of complexity at all. They want to be shielded from that complexity totally. They would like to have basically a local farmer, but that they can treat exactly as they would ordering from a distributor. Okay? They want to hear your wonderful little family story and see the pictures of your farm, but they don't want to hear anything about, well, it looks like the lettuce is going to come in next week instead of this week, and they don't like last minute, you know, surprises. And so the way that we deal with that is, the other thing they don't like is, oh, finally, okay, I want to get some of your persimmons. And you say, oh, no, we had those last week and we don't have them anymore. You know, so they want something that they can kind of count on for an entire season, not just these episodic things. They're not like some fine restaurant chef that, you know, is really monitoring what you're growing all the time. They're way too busy for that. And so the way we cope with that is basically group together with other farmers. Okay. This institutional market is, unless you're a very, very large farmer, a very, very large farmer with farms in multiple hemispheres, perhaps. This whole institution thing this is something that's very hard to do by yourself. Okay. But if you are in an alliance with other farmers, my lettuce didn't come in this week. How's yours doing? Yeah, mine's fine. Okay. So you can average those things out. You can have longer seasons, longer availability, just because you have more volume to be able to offer. Okay. So that's exactly what we do within our hub called Old Grove Orange. We have 16 farmers, and we have enough strength or volume across all of our farms to be able to consistently, pretty much mimic, what the distributors are getting through the wholesale market. And I think that's a key thing for our customers. The other key thing is you really have to understand their business. Okay, they are dealing with a unionized workforce that has a very, very strong voice in exactly what they will do and what they're not willing to do. And so you really need to focus the products that you grow on something that's going to be acceptable. But why don't we just grow cherry tomatoes? Okay, and they don't have to do it. They don't have to process it. They just have to transport it. Or why don't we offer baby cucumbers or something that's, as a vegetable, it's very easy for them to serve. So the key things: have a deep bench, have authenticity. When you go to customers, have them come to your farm. And sometimes I drive that delivery truck, and they'll see me on their loading dock. So there's that authenticity. And then offer things that make their meal options easy for them in terms of getting it on the table. What was that second question?
You actually answered it. Follow-up to that. Do you have a guesstimate of how many, between your 16 farms in your hub, about how much acreage that is under?
Wow. Okay, so it's really kind of hard to answer that question because, well, the vast majority of our farms, 100% of them, do come into our hub. There are a couple farmers that are too big for us to be able to distribute, and so they sell independently. But I would guess that we're probably pulling from maybe about 250 acres altogether.
Well, thank you. So talk about the interest in local food buying among institutions you work with and the changes you've seen in the last few years.
I started hearing about consumers, our customers wanting local product. I went, well, that's great. And then we started working with different growers and different farmers markets and getting supply. And then the price came up. And I'm going, it's twice as high sometimes as buying from the commercial market, working with the local grower. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done as far as the farmers and the growers understanding what the institutions really, really need. And I know right now I can get some product in there where the price isn't the main equation that's important to them. But they want to start promoting local. So you start slow. You're not going to be able to supply everything they need. Although I'm really interested in talking to you about your hub, because that makes a different story. Because to find local growers is not easy. And when you have 16 was the number? If you have 16 growers to pull from, you're going to get a lot better supply. And you're going to get variables that can match up. I know right now, you talked about delivering the product yourself. I still deliver the product myself. I can go to the grower and I'll pick up the product and I'll take it. Because that way I know I'm going to be able to make it happen for them. And we're doing some of that right now with some hospitals. We're even doing an amusement park that's using locally grown product. So things are happening. Things are starting to move. The cost factor is always going to be there. And another factor that we always need to consider is the product liability. Because things always happen in our industry. You hear about it all the time. If it's not green onions, it's not cantaloupes or spinach. Romaine lettuce was a big hit last year. It was a big target for people. So I mean, there's always something that needs to be, worked out with that. When you work with a distributor, the distributor has a product liability insurance. So that's a big plus. And there's just a lot of things that are starting to happen more and more in this industry. And it's just a matter of the right product mix too, at the right time of year. It's exciting what's going on right now. So, does that answer your question?
I don't know. Carissa, given your school food budget, how do you determine how much you can use of that budget to buy direct from a farm? And the second part, again, back to the availability and demand for local food within your choices.
Great question. So for our district, the gateway purchase was whole fruit. That's something that our staff is used to processing. It's something that the kids enjoy. And so that was really what we started with. And I rigorously check prices. If it's within 5 to 10% of the distributor's price, it's a no-brainer. We'll order it. If it's more like 20% higher, I might just drop the number of cases that I purchase. Or it might be something that I order something different. And I have the ability to change, like for those of you school district folks, I have the ability to change my salad bar menu on the fly because I don't pre-publish that. So there is no expectation of what's going to be on the salad bar for the kids and the families. That gives me a lot of flexibility. And again, our district is only about 5,000 students, so it's not like I'm driving demand in the market. Another technique is that I have a goal dollar amount and a workload balance, so that's where I use both of these gentlemen, because we have Sunrise as our distributors, so we get celery sticks that are cut, we get lettuce that's pre-shredded and pre-washed, but then we have the whole fruit or maybe the Persian cucumbers from Bob's farm, and so that balances it out. Also, if I know that I'm going over my goal budget for produce for that week, we as a district use the DoD favors program, and so I will offset the costs in the subsequent week and just order more things from that program.
For the lay people, DoD favors?
Sorry, yes, the Department of Defense, weird place to get your produce from, but they have some. So you can actually, when you're putting your commodity dollars allocated to different areas, you can allocate some to the Department of Defense favors program, which is fresh fruits and vegetables. Yeah, absolutely. And then as far as availability and demand, so we see seasonal variations. For example, in the winter months, there's a lot of citrus fruit available, which is natural, but our kids aren't going to necessarily want to see mandarin oranges and citrus and like navel oranges on twice in 1 week. So it's great when there is some diversity. So we do persimmons. Every once in a while there will be crab apples or guavas available. So those typically command a higher price per case, but you also have to understand that it's being offset because it's still unfamiliar to the kids somewhat, so you don't necessarily want to purchase the typical caseload for those things. And that piggybacks nicely to another element of how we can gauge budget is tracking rigorously the usage. So I've even this year started calculating the difference between if it's on the menu on a Monday or a Tuesday versus a Wednesday through Friday, because our staff tends to ask for lots of fruits and vegetables in the beginning for the salad bar, but then by the end of the week, if I show up at their kitchen, they know I get real mad at them if there's 2 cases of fruit that's not going anywhere and it's going to go bad over the weekend. So rigorous tracking and making sure that you buy what you need, and again, when the seasons do dip, look for variety from whoever you can. Sometimes it's from your distributor who has growers in both hemispheres. Sometimes it's from your local farmer who has a different product that maybe your kids aren't familiar with, but give it a try and see if they like it. And lastly, again, we are a small district, so I have the benefit of not really having to plan 12 months in advance for my menu. I can change things on the fly, and again, strategically, we don't publish our salad bar menu ahead of time so that we have that flexibility.
Bob, and you got into this a little bit, so a little bit deeper dive into what have been your most successful practices that you've developed for starting and building relationships with institutions, other than driving the truck yourself.
So we focus specifically on the school niche. Okay, that is, we have a laser beam focus on that. We don't sell to hospitals. We don't sell to restaurants. I would run away from a restaurant due to the complexity and the low volume that they order. So because we sell exclusively to school districts, I know who my customers are. There's less than 30 of them out there. And I know I know where their office is. It's public information and another telephone number. So I just call them up. That's all there is to it. I just call them up and explain, I'm a local farmer, and I want to do farm to school with you, and can I meet with you? And, they ask, where are you from? And I tell them, and they realize it's close. And then I say, shoot, do you want to meet on the farm? And can I bring your kids? Sometimes they say that. And so the whole idea is to deliver the message. What I try to deliver is, we are the real thing. If you really want to support a local grower, we are your grower, and we really, pay attention to how to be successful and make you successful in a school setting. Okay, and so when they see that we really are local and that we understand their business, they're usually pretty receptive, especially these days. 15 years ago, 13 years ago, when I started this, I could not even get past the receptionist, the person who answers the phone. I could not get past that. But now everybody's heard of farm to school, and there's other people who are doing it. And so what I think they're really looking for is, are you the real deal? Are you really a local grower? Can I come? Do you have a farm for me to come to that's not, it's 30 minutes away? Yeah, I do. And then you understand my business. And so we can say, we've been doing this for 13 years, and this is our product line. We have, at any time, usually about 9 different products that they can order from. And so they say, okay. So I think those are the key points, the two biggest things that get us in the door.
Stalking is a business model.
The showcases have been tremendous as far as meeting growers. But, like Bob, we distribute to everybody. We have a lot of schools. Schools are a big part of our business. We do a lot of health care. We do a lot of senior care. So all these institutions, we're trying to promote more local product into them. And, it's working. It's working, one step at a time. We have a hospital group that wants to be 100% sustainable in 5 years. That's their goal. That's a huge goal, and we're going to get them there, so there's a lot of planning and a lot of execution and a lot of setting up new growers, and expanding what we're doing. So I can't meet enough growers, but it has to be the right product mix. It has to be what their needs are. And like you said, how many oranges can a hospital use? A school can use a lot more. Apple's the same way. It depends on the product mix. So as far as finding more local growers, I'm all in on that. So we're looking. So,
They're out there, I know. We want to be sure to leave some time for Q&A for folks that want to come up. We've got a public mic right down here in the corner. So if you've got questions for these panelists, raise your hand. And
Brother Manuel, sure. What farmers markets do you go to?
which farmer markets I go to? I've gone to Escondido, I've gone to Carlsbad. Those have been my two. I've been in North County mostly. In Temecula. I used to go to Temecula. Temecula got huge, and I used to go to Santa Monica all the time, the Santa Monica market, because they would get growers from all over the state with a wide variety of products. So I'm limited. I don't have a lot of time to go to farmers markets, not enough time. But I know that's a good way to get there, get to the growers. A lot of the growers I know do 20 farmers markets a week, so.
Bob, I want to come back to, I'm really intrigued by this whole hub model that you put together. And so you could just expound on that a little bit, how clearly I understand the why, but a little bit more about the how.
Okay, I'll give you some how, but I want to throw in a little bit more why. And that is, farmers markets suck for farmers. Farmers that are going to farmers markets either have some cash flow issues that's really driving them to, get and need cash now, or maybe they're also in some specialty markets like Santa Monica where they can really do some large volume. But farmers markets are really tough for farmers, primarily because the number of markets is proliferating, but the number of eaters is staying the same or trailing off, which means that the average revenue per market is going down. But the cost for the farmer is exactly the same as before. He still has, she or he still has to get the truck together, load it, get out there and spend the whole day no matter how much they sell. And so, farmers are getting really burnt in farmers markets, and that's why farm to institution is so important. Because if you go to farmers market, you spend a lot of time selling. If you're selling to an institution, you spend a lot of time farming, okay? Because you don't have to go out and sell every single piece of fruit that you grow or every single cucumber that you grow. Instead, there's pretty much a consistent pattern week after week, and the orders are large, okay? So they're enough to support more than your half-acre farm. So, I have 87 acres. I can do that without, I don't have to go to 700 farmers markets to sell all that produce. We sell it to 16 different school districts, okay? And we spend all of our time farming. I've seen Carissa maybe 2 or 3 times in the last 3 years, but we do a lot of business together. And so when we saw each other this morning, I was like, hey, it is great to see you again. That's the kind of customer relationship farmers love to have. Totally right with you, Carissa, really. So that's perfect for us. And so we can really focus on the farming. We do 87 acres with 5 people. It's just a lot of volume with, very efficiently, because we don't have a lot of interns or a lot of people selling at markets, or we don't have to hire people to face for us at farmers markets, because school districts give you the volume that you can really build a sustainable farm on. Okay, that's what it's about.
On the hubs you're talking about, because see, the distributor, it takes a lot of labor, and it's expensive labor to send a truck to different farms, and when you consolidate the product mix to one location, that can be real beneficial for the distributor, and I think moving forward, I think that's going to be important. I know it's important for this distributor to consolidate costs like that.
Yeah, I understand that. And I guess the reason that we have pretty much avoided distributors in the past, although we do have a couple of relationships with distributors, is that we really want to own that customer relationship. We want the relationship not to be, separated by another entity. We want to have just this great relationship between the child nutrition director and our farm. Because stuff happens with distributors, and they're under a lot of pressure for profitability, et cetera. And if they can get those cucumbers at a nickel a carton somewhere else, they may make that move, and you may not even know why. All of a sudden, just the orders stop. Okay. Now, Sunrise is different. I know that. they're the ones that really focus on really finding truly local farms, so they are different. But there are other distributors out there where you'll be doing tons of business through them, like tens of thousands of dollars a week, and then it will just stop. And no explanation. And then you'll ask you'll call up the school nutrition director and you'll ask, why did you guys stop? And they said, oh, we didn't know you stopped. Like we thought we were still getting it from you guys. And the distributor was, just trying to make another nickel a carton or something. So we believe that relationship between the institution and the farmer is a must. And sometimes that relationship can survive being intermediated through the right kind of distributor, but lots of times it can't. And so that's why we've always kind of taken the philosophy to try to do it direct to the school district as much as we can.
One last thing I need is a big round of applause for our panelists.